Everyone in that boxing gym thought Keanu Reeves was about to lose his temper. They were waiting for it. The shouting, the argument, the drama. Because the coach standing in front of him was smiling in the worst way. Arrogant, disrespectful, confident that he was in control. He had just mocked Keanu in front of everyone. Loudly. On purpose. Some people laughed. Some looked away. Some took out their phones. They knew something big was about to happen. But Keanu didn't react the way anyone expected. He didn't clench his fists. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't step back. He smiled. A small, calm smile. Like none of the insults even touched him. And that confused everyone. Then he leaned slightly forward. And whispered something. So quietly. That only the coach could hear it. The coach's face changed instantly. His smile disappeared. His eyes widened. His breathing stopped for a second. And suddenly, he took one step back. The entire gym fell silent. No music. No punching sounds. No voices. Just shock. People looked at each other. What did he say? Did he threaten him? Did he insult him back? No one knew. But everyone could feel it. Something had shifted. The power in the room had changed. But that wasn't even the biggest surprise. Because what happened next was even more unbelievable. The coach, who had been acting like a king moments ago, lowered his head. Just slightly. Like he had been humbled. Like he had realized something too late. And at that exact moment, everyone understood. This was not going to end the way they expected. This was not going to be a fight. This was going to be something much deeper. Much more powerful. Much more unforgettable. But wait, that wasn't the real turning point. Because seconds later, Keanu did something that shocked every single person inside that gym. Something no movie could ever show. Something only real character could create. And when you see it, you'll understand why this story went viral. So don't go anywhere. Because what happens next changes everything. Before anyone knew who was right or wrong. Before the tension filled the air. Before the whispers turned into shock. There was just a normal afternoon. A simple day. Inside a small boxing gym on a quiet London street. Outside, light rain tapped softly against the windows. Cars passed slowly. People hurried by with umbrellas. Inside, the gym smelled of sweat, rubber mats, and old leather gloves. Heavy bags swung back and forth. Each punch echoed. Thump, thump, thump. A radio in the corner played low rock music. Nothing special. Nothing dramatic. Just another day of training. That's when Keanu Reeves walked in. No cameras. No assistants. No security. Just Keanu. Wearing a gray hoodie. Loose sweatpants. Old running shoes. A simple backpack on his shoulder. He looked like any other man coming in to work out. If you didn't recognize his face, you would never guess he was a global superstar. He paused at the door for a second. Looked around quietly. Not judging. Not searching for attention. Just taking in the room. Then he smiled. A gentle, respectful smile. He walked to the front desk. Spoke softly. Hi, is it okay if I train here today? The receptionist nodded quickly. Of course, sir. Keanu thanked her. Twice. Then moved toward the lockers. Along the way he nodded at people. Said hey to a few boxers. Some replied. Some were too focused to notice. Some stared in surprise. But Keanu didn't care. He changed quietly. Folded his clothes neatly. Placed them in his bag. Sat for a moment. Tied his shoes slowly. Like he wasn't in a hurry. Like this moment mattered. Then he walked to an empty corner. Picked up a pair of gloves. One. Scratched. Clearly used many times before. He tested them. Smiled again. And began warming up. Light stretches. Slow breathing. Rolling his shoulders. Rotating his wrists. Moving with calm control. No showing off. No posing. No trying to impress anyone. Just focus. Just discipline. Just respect for the craft. Between rounds, he wiped sweat from his face. Took small sips of water. Closed his eyes. Centered himself. A young boxer nearby whispered to his friend, "Is that really him?" His friend nodded. "Yeah, but look at him. He's so normal." And that was true. Keanu wasn't acting like a star. He wasn't demanding attention. He wasn't filming content. He wasn't chasing praise. He was there for one reason. To learn. To improve. To grow. For nearly 30 minutes, he trained quietly. Hitting the bag. Practicing footwork. Shadowboxing slowly. Correcting himself. Again. And again. And again. He smiled when he made mistakes. He nodded when he learned something new. He respected the process. And slowly, People began to respect him too. Some stopped laughing. Some stopped whispering. Some even felt inspired. The gym felt peaceful, balanced, harmonious, like everyone was connected by effort and discipline. But Keanu didn't know that someone had been watching him closely, from the other side of the room. Someone who didn't see humility. Someone who didn't see dedication. Someone who only saw an opportunity to feel superior. And that's when everything started to change. On the other side of the gym, near the main training ring, stood the head coach, Marcus Hale. Tall, broad-shouldered, former regional champion, known for his tough attitude, his loud voice, his sharp tongue. Most people respected him. Some feared him. Very few challenged him. He had built his reputation on control, on dominance, on never letting anyone question his authority. And from the moment Keanu walked in, Marcus noticed him. At first he didn't care. Just another guy training. Another face in the crowd. But then, he heard whispers, low voices, excited tones. Is that Keanu Reeves? No way, really? What's he doing here? Marcus glanced over. What? Then again. He squinted, recognized the face, the movies, the fame, and his expression changed. Not impressed, not excited, annoyed. He folded his arms, watched Keanu hit the bag. Clean form, controlled movement, no wasted energy. Marcus frowned. Actors pretending to be fighters, he muttered, to the assistant beside him. They think they can do everything. The assistant chuckled. Yeah, probably here for attention. Marcus nodded, but he kept watching. For several minutes, every punch, every step, every breath, and slowly, something bothered him. Keanu wasn't showing off. He wasn't performing. He wasn't looking around to see who noticed him. He was focused, completely. And that confused Marcus. Because in his world, famous people always wanted attention, always wanted praise, always wanted special treatment. But Keanu didn't. And that made Marcus uncomfortable. So he decided to test him. First, he started talking louder. On purpose. Giving instructions to other boxers. Keep your guard up. Stop dropping your hands. Don't fight like amateurs. His voice echoed through the gym. Some people glanced at Keanu to see if he reacted. He didn't. He kept training. Then, Marcus walked closer, slowly, circling behind him, like a predator, observing, judging, waiting for a mistake. Keanu felt it, that feeling of being watched. But he didn't turn around. He stayed focused, stayed calm. Marcus stopped a few feet away, shook his head, laughed quietly. Footwork sloppy, he said. Not directly to Keanu, but loud enough for him to hear. Some boxers looked over, waiting. Keanu paused, adjusted his stance, corrected his step, continued. No argument, no attitude. That annoyed Marcus even more. So he pushed further. He clapped his hands loudly. Hey Hollywood. The music faded. People froze. Keanu slowly lowered his gloves, turned around, looked at him, respectfully. Yes, he asked. One word. Calm. Polite. No ego. Marcus smirked. So tell me, are you training? Or rehearsing for your next movie? A few people laughed nervously. Others looked uncomfortable. The atmosphere changed. He stepped closer, crossed his arms. You know, this isn't a film set. No stunt doubles here. No fake punches. This is real boxing. Silence spread. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Wrong. Wrong tone. Wrong moment. Keanu listened. Didn't interrupt. Didn't defend himself. When Marcus finished, Keanu nodded slowly. I know, he said, softly. I respect that. That answer wasn't what Marcus expected. No argument. No excuse. No pride. Just respect. And that made Marcus hesitate. For half a second. But instead of backing down, he doubled down. And that decision would change everything. But that wasn't the real turning point yet. Because what happened next, no one in that gym was prepared for. The moment Keanu said, I respect that, the entire gym went quiet. Not the peaceful kind of quiet. The heavy kind. The kind that makes your heart beat louder. The kind that tells you something big is about to happen. Marcus stared at him. For a few seconds. No smile. No smirk. No joke. Just a hard, unreadable expression. He wasn't used to this. Most people argued. Most people defended themselves. Most people got angry. But Keanu didn't. and that made Marcus feel uncertain, weak, exposed. So he did what insecure people often do. He tried to regain control. He laughed, a sharp mocking laugh. "Respect?" he said. "You call that respect?" He pointed at Keanu's stance. "At your age? At your level? You think you can just walk in here and train with real fighters?" Some boxers shifted uncomfortably. Others looked at the floor. No one wanted to get involved. Marcus stepped closer. So close they were almost face to face. "You know what I see?" he continued. "I see an actor playing tough. Pretending to belong. Trying to look impressive." Keanu stood still. Didn't step back. Didn't step forward. Just listened. His breathing was slow. Controlled. Calm. Marcus lowered his voice. "So here's what I'm thinking. If you're serious, prove it." He turned toward the ring. Pointed. "Step in. 3 minutes. No cameras. No excuses. Let's see what you've got." A gasp spread through the gym. Someone whispered, "Is he serious?" Another said, "This is going to get ugly." Phones came out again. Quietly. Discreetly. People didn't want to miss this. Keanu looked at the ring. Then back at Marcus. For a moment, everyone thought he would refuse. Walk away. Avoid the trouble. That would have been smart. That would have been safe. But Keanu surprised them. He slowly removed his gloves. Placed them neatly on the bench. Wiped his hands on a towel. And nodded. "Okay," he said. One word. No drama. No hesitation. The gym exploded with whispers. He accepted? Is he crazy? Marcus will destroy him. Marcus grinned. Finally. This was what he wanted. A public victory. A chance to show his power. He climbed into the ring. Stretched his shoulders. Cracked his neck. Keanu followed. Calm. Balanced. Focused. They stood across from each other. The distance felt small. Too small. A trainer volunteered to time the round. 3 minutes, he said nervously. Ready? Everyone held their breath. Go. Marcus moved first. Fast. Aggressive. Testing. Throwing light jabs. Keanu blocked. Step back. Stayed composed. Marcus increased pressure. Harder punches. More speed. Trying to intimidate him. The crowd reacted. Oh. Careful. Watch out. Keanu kept defending. No wild swings. No panic. Just movement. Just awareness. Just control. After 30 seconds, people noticed something strange. Keanu wasn't struggling. He wasn't overwhelmed. He was reading Marcus. Learning his rhythm. Predicting his steps. Marcus noticed it too. And it scared him. So he attacked harder. Combo after combo. Trying to break him. Trying to humiliate him. Then, Marcus threw a heavy right. With all his strength. A knockout punch. Everyone gasped. This was it. This was the moment. The ending. The explosion. But Keanu did something incredible. He slipped. Perfect timing. Perfect angle. The punch missed by inches. Marcus lost balance. Stumbled forward. Nearly fell. The gym froze. No one spoke. No one moved. Keanu stood behind him. Untouched. Breathing steady. Looking composed. For a second, it looked like Keanu could strike back. And it went. Prove everything. Everyone expected it. But instead, he lowered his hands. Stepped away. And said softly, "Careful." That one word changed everything. Because that wasn't weakness. That was power. And that was only the beginning. The word careful hung in the air. Soft. Quiet. Almost gentle. But inside that gym, it hit harder than any punch. Marcus froze. Still off balance. Still breathing hard. Still trying to understand what had just happened. He slowly turned around. Looked at Keanu. Not with anger. Not with arrogance. But with confusion. And something else. Respect. For the first time since this started, Marcus saw him differently. Not as a movie star. Not as an outsider. Not as someone pretending. But as a disciplined fighter. A man who knew control. Who understood restraint. The crowd remained silent. No cheers. No clapping. No shouting. Everyone sensed. This moment was bigger than competition. Bigger than ego. Bigger than winning. Marcus straightened himself. Adjusted his stance. Took a deep breath. He nodded once. Almost unconsciously. Like he was saying, "I get it now." They continued. But everything had changed. Marcus attacked again. More carefully this time. Less reckless. More thoughtful. Keanu responded, not with aggression, but with precision. He blocked, redirected, moved, like water flowing around rocks. Each motion was smooth, intentional, respectful. He never tried to hurt Marcus, never tried to embarrass him, never tried to show off. Instead, he showed mastery through calmness. Minutes passed. Sweat dripped. Breathing grew heavier. But Keanu stayed steady, centered, focused. Then came the turning point. Marcus rushed in again. A desperate move. Trying to regain control. Trying to prove something. And this time, Keanu countered. Not with power. With timing. A light tap to the shoulder. A gentle sweep of the glove. Enough to stop Marcus. Enough to unbalance him. Enough to show skill. Marcus stumbled back. Not falling, but clearly shaken. The message was clear. I could hurt you, but I won't. The trainer called out. Time. 3 minutes were over. But no one moved. No one spoke. It felt like time itself had paused. Marcus lowered his hands. His chest rose and fell rapidly. He looked tired. But not just physically. Emotionally. Humbled. He removed his mouthguard. Walked toward Keanu. Slowly. Carefully. Like approaching something sacred. He stopped. Extended his hand. I was wrong, he said. His voice low. Honest. I judged you. I underestimated you. I'm sorry. That apology was louder than any insult before it. Keanu took his hand. Firm. Warm. Respectful. It's okay, Keanu replied. We all make mistakes. I'm still learning too. That sentence surprised everyone. After everything, after proving himself, he still chose humility. The crowd finally reacted. Soft applause. Then louder. Then stronger. Not for winning. For character. For class. For humanity. Some boxers nodded. Others smiled. A few wiped their eyes. They weren't watching a fight anymore. They were witnessing a lesson. Marcus turned to his trainees. Cleared his throat. Listen, he said. Today, I learned something. Talent isn't loud. Strength isn't arrogant. Real fighters respect everyone. He looked at Keanu. Thank you for reminding me. Keanu smiled. Not proudly. Not smugly. Just kindly. I've had good teachers, he said. And I'm grateful for them. He stepped out of the ring. Put his gloves back on the bench. Drank some water. Sat quietly. Like nothing special had happened. But everyone knew. Something special had happened. The energy in the gym was different now. Warmer. Softer. Healthier. People spoke more kindly. Encouraged each other. Helped beginners. Shared tips. It felt like a community again. Not a battlefield. And at the center of it all was a man who chose peace over pride. Wisdom over ego. Respect over revenge. That was Keanu's real victory. Not over Marcus, but over arrogance. And over anger. And that was why this moment would never be forgotten. After the round ended, after the applause slowly faded, after people returned to their routines, something inside that gym had changed forever. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, gentle, but powerful. Marcus sat on the edge of the ring, a towel draped over his shoulders, a bottle of water in his hand. He stared at the floor, not in defeat, but in reflection. For the first time in years, he wasn't thinking about winning, or reputation, or control. He was thinking about his behavior, his words, his attitude. He replayed the moment in his head. The mocking, the challenge, the arrogance. And then, Keanu's calm, Keanu's restraint, Keanu's respect. It hurt. Not his body, his pride, but in a good way. The kind of pain that teaches. Across the room, Keanu sat quietly on a bench, scrolling through nothing, just resting, breathing slowly, letting his heart rate return to normal. A young boxer approached him, nervously. Oh, Mr. Reeves? Keanu looked up, smiled. Yes. I just wanted to say, that was amazing. Not the fighting, the way you handled it. Keanu nodded. Thank you. But remember, that wasn't about me. It was about learning. The boy looked confused. Keanu continued. When you control your anger, you control the situation. That's real strength. The boy nodded slowly, like he had just received advice for life. Not just boxing. One by one, others came. A woman training near the ropes. An older coach. 2 beginners. Each thanked him. Each shared how inspired they felt. Keanu listened. Never rushed. Never bragged. Never dismissed anyone. He treated everyone the same. Like equals. Meanwhile, Marcus stood up. Walked slowly toward Keanu. His step felt heavy. Not because he was tired. Because he was humbled. He stopped in front of him. Cleared his throat. "I've been thinking," Marcus said. "I built this gym to teach discipline. But somewhere, I forgot it myself." Keanu looked at him. Attentively. No judgment. Marcus continued. "I used fear to lead. I used ego to feel strong. But today, you showed me another way." He paused. "I'd like to change. I don't want my students to remember me as a bully. I want them to remember me as a teacher." Keanu stood up. Placed a hand on Marcus's shoulder. "That's already happening," he said. "Because you admitted it." That simple sentence lifted a huge weight from Marcus's heart. Tears filled his eyes. He quickly wiped them. Embarrassed. But no one laughed. No one judged. Everyone understood. Growth was happening. Real growth. Marcus turned to his students. "From today," he said, "we train with respect. We correct with kindness. We compete with honor. If I ever forget that, remind me." They nodded. Some clapped. Some smiled. Some looked proud. The gym felt reborn. Like a fresh start. Later that evening, as the sun began to set, golden light filled the windows. Keanu packed his bag. Slowly. Neatly. Marcus walked him to the door. "I hope you'll come back," Marcus said. "Anytime," Keanu replied. "But only if you promise something." "What?" "Stay humble." Marcus laughed softly. "I will." They shook hands. Not as rivals. Not as celebrity and coach. But as two men who had learned something together. Outside, rain had stopped. The streets glowed. People walked peacefully. Keanu stepped out. Took a deep breath. Smiled. Not because he had won. But because he had helped someone grow. And sometimes, that's the greatest victory of all. Weeks after that day, people in the gym were still talking about it. Not like gossip. Not like drama. But like a lesson. Like something sacred. Something that had changed them. One evening, a young man named Daniel sat in the corner of the gym, wrapping his hands. Slowly. Carefully. He was new. So, not very confident. Before that day, he used to feel invisible. Weak. Unimportant. He joined boxing to feel stronger. But instead, he often felt scared. Scared of making mistakes. Scared of being laughed at. Scared of disappointing his coach. Marcus used to be strict with him. Sometimes too strict. One wrong move, and Daniel would hear shouting. Criticism. Harsh words. It made him doubt himself. Many times, he thought about quitting. About walking away. About giving up on his dream. But after what happened with Keanu, everything changed. Marcus changed. The gym changed. And Daniel changed. Now, when Daniel made mistakes, Marcus didn't yell. He corrected. Patiently. Calmly. "Try again. You're improving. I believe in you." Those words were new and powerful. They made Daniel stand taller. Train harder. Dream bigger. One night, after training, Daniel stayed late, hitting the bag alone. Sweat dripping. Hands shaking. But smiling. Marcus watched from a distance. Then walked over. "You've improved a lot," he said. Daniel looked surprised. "Really?" Marcus nodded. "Yes. And you know why? Because you stopped being afraid." Daniel hesitated. Then asked, "Coach, do you remember that day with Keanu?" Marcus smiled. "How could I forget?" Daniel took a breath. "That day saved me." Marcus looked at him. Confused. "What do you mean?" Daniel sat down. "I was going to quit. I felt useless. I thought I'd never be good enough. But when I saw how he stayed calm, how he respected you, how you respected him back, I realized something. Strength isn't about shouting. It's about believing." Marcus's eyes softened. "I'm glad you stayed," he said. "So am I," Daniel replied. Meanwhile, across the city, Keanu had no idea about Daniel, or the dozens of others, whose lives he had touched. He wasn't checking comments. He wasn't watching reaction videos. He wasn't counting views. He was just living his life, riding his motorcycle, reading books, spending time with loved ones, being kind. As always, one afternoon, Keanu received a letter, handwritten, from the gym. Inside it said, "Dear Keanu, you may not remember me. I'm one of the students at the gym. That day, you showed us what real strength looks like. Because of you, I didn't quit. I didn't give up. I didn't lose hope. I'm now preparing for my first amateur fight. No matter what happens, I'll carry your lesson forever. Thank you, Daniel. Keanu read it slowly, twice, then smiled. A quiet smile. The same smile he had in the gym. He folded the letter, placed it in his jacket pocket, and whispered, "That's why it mattered." Back at the gym, a photo of that day now hung on the wall. Not of punches, not of poses, but of two men shaking hands. Under it was written, "Respect is real strength." Every new member saw it. Every beginner read it. Every tired fighter looked at it and felt encouraged. So now, let me ask you something. Have you ever been judged unfairly? Have you ever been underestimated? Have you ever felt small, when you knew inside you were capable of more? If yes, this story is for you. Because like Keanu showed, you don't need to be loud. You don't need to be cruel. You don't need to prove yourself to everyone. You just need to stay true. Stay humble. Stay strong. And never let arrogance steal your peace. If this story touched your heart, type respect red heart in the comments. Let's see how many people still believe in kindness. Tell me, where are you watching from? What country? What city? I read every comment, and your story matters. And before you go, remember this. One calm moment, one kind decision, one respectful response can change a life, sometimes, more than you'll ever know. So be that person. Today, tomorrow, always.